RiverBender.com's live coverage of today's game is brought to you by Macias Insurance Agency, your local independent insurance agent. Andy's Auto Body, Tire, and Auto Service and Sales. Auto Butler Car Wash and Express Lube, located at 1706 Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Auto Centers Nissan, home of the Wiggity Way. Roper's Regal Beagle, the Metro East's premier sports bar and grill. Shell Community Federal Credit Union, the one place to go for all your banking needs. Alton Sports Tap, sports, food, and good times. Liberty Bank, bank local, bank Liberty. Ruderman Plumbing, your locally owned plumbing superheroes. Gerard Fisher, American Family Insurance, all of your protection under one roof. Tom Lane State Farm, your good neighbor agent in the Riverbend. First Mid-America Credit Union, exceeding member expectations since 1934. Roberts Ford, the value store since 1949.
Ready to get this game underway with Hovey leading things off for the Edwardsville Tigers. He steps in from the left-handed batter's box, awaiting the first pitch from the left-handed pitching Brian Hudson. First pitch is on the way, swing and a strike one to Hovey. Cloudy, overcast conditions. Alton played last night, suffered their first loss of the season. Edwardsville played back on Tuesday night. Second pitch of the game is taken for a ball. Counts even, 1-1. Colin Clayton is on deck. Hudson looks in for the sign and delivers. Called strike on the outside corner. 1-2 the count to the leadoff man, Hovey. Comes in hitting .333. A lot of gaudy batting averages in this Edwardsville lineup. Same can be said for the Alton Redbirds. We'll get to them in just a little bit. Here's a ground ball to the second baseman. That's where Skrabach throws on to first to Kanelican to record the first out of the game. A ground out by Hovey leads off the first inning. Clayton comes to bat. .625 batting average for Colin Clayton here in the early going. He's the center fielder for Tim Funkhauser's Edwardsville Tigers. Wears uniform number 2, right-handed bat. Awaits the pitch from Hudson. First pitch is taken for a strike. Jackson on deck. Aaron Jackson, the third baseman for Edwardsville. Hudson working quickly, gets the sign and delivers another. Misses high, ball one. Matthew Zelonko will bat if someone reaches here in this first inning for the Edwardsville Tigers. Left-hander, 6'5+", Brian Hudson delivers another. This one misses. And the count's 2-1. To Colin Clayton. Right-handed bat for the Tigers. Awaits another pitch from Hudson. This is fouled off, and the count's even, 2-2. Edwardsville last played on Tuesday night. A 19-1 victory over East St. Louis in Edwardsville. Alton played last night, suffered their first loss to Wheaton Warrenville. Here's a pitch called strike 3. Clayton watched it as Hudson was able to get it at the lower end of the strike zone. His first strikeout of the game. And there's 2 up, 2 down here in the first inning. Daniel Hudson is all over the leaders when you look at the statistics for the St. Louis area. Most wins in the early part of the season. He's got other gaudy numbers from his very excellent start to his season. Has not allowed an earned run on the young season. First pitch is a ball to Jackson. Jackson will ground one towards short. Wynn will throw across in time to record the third out of the inning. And the Edwardsville Tigers go down 1-2-3 here in the first. Alton coming to bat. There's no score after 1/2 inning. You're listening to the Big Z Radio Sports.
If you have car problems, Andy's has the solution. Customer service is priority number 1. Our dedicated staff will be more than helpful in getting your car back on the road while you relax in our comfortable waiting area. If needed, we'll also make arrangements for a rental. Our experienced ASC certified technicians will walk you through every step of the process. Andy's Tire and Auto Service offers every under-the-hood service you need. Visit one of our 4 convenient locations today.
Allen, and Straumbach. That's the starting lineup for the Alton Redbirds. Stephen Wynn steps in from the left side and watches strike one called from Daniel Lloyd. 2-0 on the season for the Edwardsville Tigers. Lloyd looks in for the sign from Wallace, delivers, ground ball towards short. The speedy Wynn runs down the line quickly, but he's just gunned down by a half step as Wynn grounds out. Came in hitting .529, but he is a victim here of a ground out in the first inning. Phillips comes to bat. Brendan Phillips wears number 14. He's the right fielder for these Alton Redbirds, decked out in their new uniforms this year. Kind of a throwback to the 1980s Houston Astros style. Difficult to believe that you would look back to the 80s and consider that throwback. Here's a pitch called strike one to Phillips. Got the stripes across the front in a red, black, and gray pattern. And then the word birds right above those stripes across the chest, written in block letters. Here's a pitch outside for a ball, counts even 1-1. Brian Hudson on deck. Not only is he a good pitcher, he's a good hitter too, hitting .615. He'll hit third in this Redbird lineup. Next one on the way and fouled out of play. Counts 1-2. Count goes to 1-2 on the second place hitter, Brendan Phillips. Lloyd looks in for the sign and misses. Ball bounces in the left-handed batter's box. That makes the count 2-2. Setting the infield for Edwardsville, Jackson, Hovey, Krebs, and Zimmer across the infield. Wallace is behind the plate. Receives this pitch from Lloyd that misses outside. Count goes full 3-2. The outfield features Shaquille, Clayton, and Zelenko, left to right. Full count to Phillips. Lloyd delivers low for a ball. First base runner of the game, Brendan Phillips, reaches on a one-out walk here in the first. And that brings in Brian Hudson, number 11, senior pitcher. So many times we see the pitcher being designated hit for, but that's not the case with Hudson, hitting .615 on the young season. And just to look into those numbers a little bit closer, Hudson on the year has 19 plate appearances, 13 official at-bats, and he's got 8 hits. 8 for 13. Watches one miss inside for a ball. Hudson's also got 3 home runs, 12 RBI, and that 12 RBI leads the St. Louis area. He's got a teammate, Kanelican, right behind him at 11. He's on deck. Hudson watches his runner off first break towards second, but stops. Phillips maybe seeing if he can get a break against this right-handed pitcher, Lloyd. Counts 2-0 as that one misses high. Kanelican on deck for Coach Todd Haug's Alton Redbirds. Pitcher steps off, runner goes back to first. With the left-handed bat and a runner being held on at first, there's a pretty good gap on that side of the diamond with the first baseman and second baseman. Good hitting hole for Hudson. He grounds it foul towards the dugout down the first base line. 2-1 the count to Brian Hudson. Hudson on the season, 3 singles, 1 double, 1 triple, and his 3 home runs. Pitch fouled off, right back to the screen. That evens the count at 2. Last year we saw Brian Hudson play mostly center field for the Alton Redbirds. But he's going to get his share of time on the mound this year. And he's the starting pitcher here today versus Edwardsville. Throw over to first, getting back easily was Phillips. As Hudson awaits the 3-2 pitch, or check that, the 2-2 pitch from Daniel Lloyd. Daniel Lloyd looks in for the sign from Joe Wallace's catcher. Now Hudson asks for time and steps out. Swinging a lime green bat from the left-hand batter's box, wearing the white helmet. Swing and a miss, and Hudson goes down swinging. Not too often you record an out with Brian Hudson in the batter's box, and he strikes out swinging here, and that's the second out of the inning. That brings Knellican to the bat. Jacob Knellican hitting .583 on the season. He's the Redbird first baseman, wears number 9. Todd Howe going through the signs down in the third base coach's box. Runner on first, Phillips takes his lead. Zimmer holds him on. Lloyd delivers low for a ball. Digging it out that time was Wallace behind the plate. Overcast skies. We expected thunder showers all day today. Really just got some rain showers early, and area teams in the Riverbend trying to get some baseball and softball played here before rains come tonight and tomorrow. Here's a pickoff play, and they get him leaning. Lloyd picks off Phillips at first base. Phillips was leaning towards second when the throw comes over, and the third out is recorded on the bases. The pickoff of Phillips at first base, and the Redbirds will have Jacob Knellican to lead off the second inning. We've played one full at Gordon Moore Park. There's no score. You're listening to the Big Z Radio Sports.
All right, sir, we finished all the services on your car. They'll take it over for your complimentary car wash, and they'll call you when it's ready.
Must have gotten the instruction to have him remove that from the Edwardsville bench, you would assume. So Brian Hudson complies. Now he's ready to go. Now we get the Alton coach, Todd Howe, asking why he was asked to remove that. He wants an explanation from the umpire. He's going to walk out to the first base umpire and ask why you made my pitcher take off a sleeve here on a chilly day, where it's not really chilly, but it could get chilly as this game goes on. And it might be the fact that he had a compression on one arm and not the other. And I think if you were wearing an undergarment with both sleeves matching, it would be okay. But if one is not, that could be where the problem comes in. So it looks like Todd Haug is satisfied with the explanation from the umpires. And Brian Hudson's back on the hill waiting to get things underway here in the second inning. No score. Both of these teams with 6 wins in the early going. Alton suffering their first loss last night. Here comes the pitch from Hudson. Misses outside for a ball. Matthew Zolanko hitting .533 on the season. He's the Tiger right fielder. Wears number 23, bats right-handed. Facing the left-handed pitching Hudson. Misses high for ball 2. 2-0 to Zolanko. Shaquille on deck. Gorella will hit third for the Tigers. They're sporting the gray uniforms here this afternoon with the white pants. Here's a fly ball on the infield. Third baseman wants it, camps under it, and makes the catch. Hampton makes the catch for out number 1 here in the second inning. And that brings up Fod Shaquille, left fielder for the Edwardsville Tigers. Hudson looks in, gets the sign from his catcher, Bunnell. Delivers, and it's grounded back towards the pitcher's mound. Hudson fields, turns, and throws to first for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the Edwardsville top half of the second inning. Gorella comes to bat. He's the designated hitter, hitting for the pitcher Lloyd in this Tiger lineup. And Gorella's got the lowest batting average of anyone who's starting this game. Comes in hitting .214 as the DH. In fact, everybody in the Alton lineup hitting .300 or better, with the exception of Matt Hopkins, who's hitting .294. Hudson delivers to Gorella, misses outside for a ball. Jake Gorella wears number 9, right-handed batter. As the lefty, Hudson throws from the windup, misses outside for a ball. Ball 2. Tigers will play Parkway South on Saturday. And there's one ground or fly out of play. Foul ball out of play to the right. While the Alton Redbirds are off until Monday. They're going to play Freeport in Jacksonville at Lenz Field. Here's a pitch from Hudson. Just misses low. Ball 3. 3-1 to Gorella. Mitchell Krebs on deck should Gorella reach. Lights are on here at Lloyd Hopkins Field as Hudson delivers a pitch up and in, fouled off by Gorella. Makes it a full count now, 3-2. First 2 outs recorded. Zolanko popped up on the infield. Shaquille grounded back to the pitcher. And now Gorella stands in, waiting the full count pitch from Daniel Hudson. Or Brian Hudson, I should say. Misses high for a ball. And there's the Edwardsville Tigers' first base runner of the game, a walk to Gorella with 2 outs here in the second. Krebs steps in. He's hitting .267 on the season. Where's number 8? He's the second baseman and stands in from the left side. Runner on first takes the lead. Kanelican holds him on. And the pitch is a called strike to Krebs. Sweeping curveball over the plate for strike 1. Outfielder's pretty much straight away. Center fielder maybe just shading a little bit to left to this left-handed batting, Mitchell Krebs. Called strike 2. This one catches the outside part of the plate. And Krebs is in the hole, 0-2. Bailey Zimmer on deck for the Tigers. Hudson operating from the stretch, trying to keep that runner close at first, and he'll throw over. Kanelican not really at the bag. He's about a step off the bag between first base and the runner who takes his lead. He is a right-handed throwing first baseman, and he'll probably catch it and try to sweep backwards to get the runner. Here's a fly ball to right field. That's where Phillips is got it, and that's out number 3. One runner reaches on a walk, and he's stranded. We've played 1.5 scoreless innings from Lloyd Hopkins Field at Gordon Moore Park. No score. You're listening to Big Z Radio Sports.
In the market for a new Nissan? Go no further than Auto Centers Nissan in Wood River, the #1 volume Nissan dealer in the Midwest. Auto Centers always has a huge selection, and every new Nissan is backed by Auto Centers' exclusive low price guarantee, 30-day return, and lifetime powertrain warranty. Auto Centers also has a gigantic pre-owned inventory, and regardless of any credit problems, Auto Centers will get you approved. So be wiggity wise and hurry into Auto Centers Nissan, Highway 255 and 143 in Wood River, Illinois. AutoCentersNissan.com.
Kanelican, Bunnell, and Hopkins for the Redbirds. Pitch from Lloyd on the way, and it's a half swing, and it's a strike as Kanelican went around. Jacob Kanelican, first baseman for the Redbirds. Stands in from the right side. Right-handed pitcher Daniel Lloyd delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Kanelican. Outfielder Clayton for the Edwardsville Tigers, just a step or so towards left field. Missing outside for ball 1 is Lloyd. Counts now 1-2 to Kanelican. Alton Redbird catcher Bunnell on deck. comes another from Lloyd on the way. Misses outside for ball 2. Counts even now, 2-2. Got ahead quickly with 2 strikes, and now missing away on 2 straight deliveries is Lloyd. The 2-2 pitch on the way. This is low for ball 3. Just missing low. Makes it a full count now. As the leadoff man here in the second, Kanelican stands in. Full count, 3-2 pitch. On the way from Lloyd, and the off-speed pitch is called strike 3. Second strikeout for Lloyd. Got Hudson in the first inning, and now gets Kanelican here to lead off the second. Bunnell steps in, hitting .300 on the year. Redbird catcher, junior, wears number 12. Looks down to the third base coach's box. Now he steps in. Lloyd looks in for the sign and delivers. A little bit high, maybe outside, ball 1 to Bunnell. Big flag in center field here at Lloyd Hopkins Field, blowing out. Should one get lofted out into the center field area, that wind could help. There's one fouled back, out of play. Strike 1 to Bunnell. Matt Hopkins on deck. Hopkins pitched for the first time last night. He took the loss in Alton's game yesterday. Here's another from Lloyd on the way, and it's a called strike at the knees. And Bunnell's in the hole now, 1-2. Number 7th place hitter Drake Hampton would bat if Hopkins or Bunnell reaches. Lloyd delivers. Misses outside. Ball goes back to the screen. It's ball 2. Counts even, 2-2. First broadcast doubleheader of the young season. Had a couple of games rained out on the Big Z last week. Got our first broadcast in earlier this week. Had another game yesterday. 5-inning affair in Roxana. And then a doubleheader today. Baseball first, then girls softball later. Hope you stick around on the Big Z. Counts even, 2-2. Pitch on the way from Lloyd. And it's fouled into the catcher's mitt, and it pops out, and it will remain 2-2 to Bunnell. Wallace just couldn't quite hold on, which would have been strike 3. Another 2-2 pitch on the way from Daniel Lloyd to Bunnell. This time he swings through it for second straight strikeout. 2 strikeouts here to start the second inning. Got Kanelican looking and retires Bunnell swinging. So that brings in Matt Hopkins. He'll bat from the left side. A little bit of an open stance. Where's number 8? Doesn't take really a practice swing at all. Just stands in there ready from Hopkins from Lloyd, and he watches one miss inside for ball 1. Redbird left fielder Matt Hopkins awaits another pitch from Lloyd. This one also misses low. Ball 2. Edwardsville with wins on the season versus Civic Memorial, Greenville, Kirkwood, Moline, Glenbrook South, and East St. Louis. Alton with their 6 wins on the young season against Murfreesboro, Jersey, Cahokia, Civic Memorial, Wheaton, Warrenville South. Oh, they lost to Wheaton, Warrenville South. They got actually 2 wins against Murfreesboro, 2 wins against CM. A couple of double headers in the early going. Here's a called strike to Hopkins. Counts now 2-1. Watches another one. This one misses just outside. The count's 3-1 to Matt Hopkins. First 2 batters, strikeout victims. 3 strikeouts on the afternoon from Lloyd. He looks in with a 3-1 pitch now on the way to Matt Hopkins. And Hopkins swings through it for strike 2. Count goes full. We're in the top of the second inning, or bottom of the second inning, as the Redbirds bat. 2 outs, 3-2 pitch And we're going to get a timeout call. Looks like the batter asked for timeout, was granted by the home plate umpire. He steps out. Now he's ready. Lloyd with a pitch, swing and a miss, gets Hopkins swinging, and he strikes out the side. 4 strikeouts in the game for Lloyd, 3 in a row here in the second. We've played 2 full. There's no score. You're listening to the Big Z Radio Sports.
Timeout. Come here. I need better coverage. Anybody here give me better coverage?
Put me in, coach. I can give you better coverage. Not only can I give you better coverage, I can protect your dreams. Call me, Gerard Fisher, 466-7062.
Hey, where do you want this ladder?
Oh, come on, coach.
American Family Insurance.
Here at Lloyd Hopkins Field. Ready to start the top of the third. The Edwardsville Tigers will send to the plate Zimmer, Wallace, and then back to the top of the order, Hovey. Talking about some gaudy offensive numbers, how about Bailey Zimmer? He's had 8 plate appearances, 5 official at-bats, and he's 4 for 5. Hudson misses high, ball 2. Bailey Zimmer hitting .800 on the young season. Now granted, that's not a big sample size with the 5 official at-bats, but 4 for 5, you can't discount that. Hudson misses inside, ball 3. And Zimmer, you would figure, will watch this 4th delivery of the 3rd inning from Brian Hudson. Hudson working quickly, delivers, and misses high. We've got another walk. Second walk of the game for the Edwardsville Tigers, second base runner of the game for Edwardsville. And that brings up the number 9 place hitter, Joe Wallace. Wallace hitting .500 on the year. He's got even fewer plate appearances than Zimmer. He's been to bat 3 times, 2 official at bats, and he's 1 for 2. Batting 9th in Coach Tim Funkhauser's lineup. As the leadoff man Zimmer reaches on a walk, he takes his lead at first. Kanelican holds. We talked about how Kanelican was holding a runner on last inning. Well, he's changed it up. He's back to the base here. I guess that's the difference between maybe a left-handed bat and a right-handed bat. As Zimmer takes his lead. Hudson checks and delivers. Squaring to bunt was Wallace, but he quickly brought it back to take strike 1. Counts even 1-1. Jordan Hovey on deck. He's the leadoff man. As Zimmer inches away. Not a big lead at all off first base. Missing for ball 2 was Hudson. And I think the home plate umpire was ready to ring it up as a called strike. He had that one step where he was going to maybe go up with the right hand, but changed mid-stride. And now it's 2-1 to the 9th place hitter, Joe Wallace. Tiger catcher, wears number 28. Third baseman for the Redbirds, Hampton, playing in on the grass. First baseman, of course, holding on. So there's some space on the infield. There's another bunt attempt, and it back to the screen as Hampton charged from third. Counts even 2-2. Maybe you heard that discussion with the coach down in the third base coach's box. Got an indication that they might try to bunt. Now the count's even at 2. You don't figure a bunt is in order here with the 2 strikes on the batter. Zimmer takes his lead. He fakes leaving, and then the called strike to Wallace, and that's a strikeout, number 2 in the game for Brian Hudson. Both of his strikeouts have come with the Tiger batter looking. That's the first out of the inning as Wallace goes down on strikes, brings in Jordan Hovey for his second plate appearance of the game. Led off the game, grounding out to the second baseman. He bats with 1 on, 1 out here in the third. Watches called strike 1 at the knees. Colin Clayton on deck for the Tigers. Left-handed batter, Hovey, plays shortstop for the Tigers. Awaits the pitch from Hudson. And he lines it into center field. It's going to get to the gap, and